Und es geht wieder weiter mit Let's Play Fake Grand Order. Ich bin es am Simmerfix. Ihr seht es. Das ist das, was von den schönen Wäldern hier in Wales übrig geblieben ist. Eine Aschewolke. Alles andere wurde hier von den Truppen der Königin und natürlich Barges, dessen wahren Namen wir nun kennen, wahren Namen wir nun kennen, hier ausgelöscht. Beim letzten Mal haben wir hier zwar tapfer gekämpft und sie sogar zurückgeschlagen. Doch das bringt hier oben uns Freunde auch nicht zurück. Er braucht hier nur erstmal ein paar verständliche Minuten für sich selbst und die Frage ist natürlich, wo unser Weg nun hingeht. Wir haben eine weitere Bastion verloren und ich bin gespannt auch, wie es in Londinium aussieht. Aber erstmal können wir sagen, dass wir einen der Tamlin bezwungen haben. I can't believe a proud knight like myself has to flee. This has been one surprise after another. The child of prophecy and a foreign maid who was supposed to stay back in Londinium. Lancelot didn't obey her orders. Gawain only burnt the forest. No, she just barges the Black Dog now. I have to report her betrayal to Her Majesty. Under circumstances, she will understand why I had no choice but to retreat. But the biggest problem is that girl who saw through my camouflage. I should have made her tell me how she did it, but that damn Percival got in my way. Well, no matter. At least I know where to find her. As soon as I've reported back to Her Majesty, I go to Londinium and jetzt wird gemordet. What the? Huh? What is this? What's going on? My legs! They're being eaten. Don't ever underestimate Mommy Bargest. You, I know you. I recognize the terrible cursed scent. I smelt it during the war against the Moors. Oder doch nicht, Barges? Ich dachte, die frisst ihn jetzt. This can't be. You're supposed to be dead. The High Queen. I have to tell the High Queen. Okay, doch jemand? Okay. Okay, nicht Barges. Ich dachte, Barges frisst ihn. Huh. Oh! Oh, okay, ich weiß es. Oh, ich sag, okay. Nein, nicht mehr gesagt, weil das wäre Spoiler-Territorium. Also, okay. Nun geht die Geschichte von unserem werten Mesh weiter. Fragment. Das heißt, wir sind wieder in der Vergangenheit bei Asek. Fair founded back when Britain's Tree of Emptiness still stood intact and whole. Mesh was enjoying a peaceful recite with Ace and Totoro at her forest camp. Though still bewildered by how simultaneously similar and different her surroundings were, she told her new companions everything she could about their experience in Fairy Britain. So that's everything I know about the Isles of Britain, the land of the Fae. Does that help? Ace? Is there something wrong with her? Don't be rude, Totoro. She isn't lying. She's telling us about the distant future. So, in the future, this place is called Fairy Britain. Queen named Morn unifies all the clans. And there's a figure known as the Child of Prophecy, as well as invaders from the proper human history. Oh, I'm sorry. Invaders is too strong a word. Forgive me. I'm still processing everything you taught me. No, it's okay. I can't blame you for thinking of us that way. Anyway, does this mean you believe me about coming here from the future, Isk? It's a lot to take in, but I can mostly feel you're being honest about it all. Part of me doesn't want to believe it, especially regarding the Child of Prophecy. You said she's the Savior Reborn, the next fairy destined to save Britain. If there's such a person in the future, that means, well, it means I'm going to fail. Yeah, and there's no way Ace gonna fail this time. She's gonna bring peace to Britain. You see, this Merclan fairy doesn't know what she's talking about. You're right, Totoro. I do have a maker's sure I succeeded this time. You'll help me, won't you? You bet I will. I'm always happy to help guys who are doing the best. You said your name was Mesh, right? You've got bad luck showing up when you did. If you want my help, you're going to have to wait until you've finished making Isaac happy. That's fine. Thank you, Totorot. I know I can count on you. Mesh, if you don't have anywhere else to go, you can stay with us. But if you do, I'd like you to promise me one thing. If you want to return to your own time, you shouldn't say anything about the future. Alright. Is that because intervening in the past could end up changing the future? Something like that. I doubt anything you say or do here will have any effect on the era of the High Queen. But there could be fairies here in the Fae era where the Tree of Emptiness is still intact, whose destinies could end up warped. Huh? So nothing I do here will have any effect on the era of the High Queen? What do you mean by... Hold it, Mesh. That's getting into the future again, right? Oh, right, of course. I shouldn't even be talking about the era of the High Queen anymore, should I? That's right. I'm saying there's more to protect your destiny than ours. When you go back to your own time, you can't bring back any knowledge that would create a paradox. The larger the paradox, the larger the resulting gaps in your memory will be. You don't want to lose your precious memories, right? So, it's better if you avoid discussions of the future as much as possible. That being said, I really have to question this High Queen Morgan's judgment in handling calamities by sending them back to the past. If you hadn't defeated the calamity of Norwich in the future, then we would have found that giant hand thing you told us about on that beach incident of you, right? Talk about a close call. If it had been that thing we encountered, we might have lost the Knight of Londinium, who finally just appeared. In that sense, you've helped us out more than I possibly say, Mesh. Thanks to you and this maxi person saving us from that battle. Our own battle should go much more smoothly. That battle you're fighting as the savior of Britain, right? Is that a battle from year 4000 of the Fae era, or the war of the Summer Fae era 2000? What year is it right now? Huh? The war of Summer happened in the Fae era 10,000. The only war that took place in the year 2000 was the yard dispute between the Earth and the Wind clans, back when Britain was a lot smaller than it is now. Oh, wait. I think I understand those years' numbers must be backwards. In the time Mesh is from, they probably count the Fae era backwards, starting from the first year of era of the High Queen. It may keep things simpler if we just talk about past events in terms of how many years ago that happened. The War of Summer took place 1600 years ago, which would make it Fae era 2000 from perspective Mesh. It was a massive invasion perpetrated by Ireland, the Isle of Shadow. Skark. It was a second attempt by the Northern Fairies to invade Britain. They were led by Queen Mab, who worked per human army like slaves. That was a really close call, wasn't it, Totorot? It sure was. They almost killed every clan in Britain. I don't know what we would have done if it hadn't been for you and the Black Knight. Right, Black Knight?
True. Queen Mab was a powerful fairy. And it's not just because she had Albion's protection. She also had a primordial strength about her that the Southern Fairies simply doesn't possess. Ace managed to buy us some time, but if she really wanted to wipe out the clans, there was nothing we could have done to stop her. Der Black Knight, also es ist Guts, liebe Leute. But then, just as Mab was on the verge of victory, she proposed a truce out of nowhere. She then went to occupy the vacant throne left behind by the Rain clan in Orkney, and became the lord of the entire northern region.
I see. Thank you for filling me in. By the way, may I ask who that is? This is Sir Black Knight, my escort. He and I have known each other for a long time, haven't we?
Indeed. Ever since you first became a public figure. Ace and I have fought side by side for over 2000 years now. I don't know how much more I can take, even with this undying body. Succeed or fail, I really hope this is your last attempt to save Britain.
Don't worry, it's going to work this time. All we have to do is make sure the coronation goes smoothly.
I guess that's true. If this doesn't work, then nothing will. After 10,000 years of fighting, the clans have finally agreed to live peacefully under Britain's new king. Though I still find it hard to believe that a human of all people succeeded at unifying the 5 clans. Still, I suppose it makes sense, since fairies would never submit to another fairy's rule. If only we'd realized it sooner.
Wait, hold on. Did you say Britain has a king? And a human, no less? That's right. Map's still grumbling about it, though. This has a much better choice of Britain king than someone else. Well, you know, how proud Map can be Totorot. And that's not even mentioning what happened before the War of Summer. But anyway, we're getting off track. Right now, Mesh, we're in the, what you call the Fae era 400. Which I guess means this High Queen Morgan will appear 400 years from now. I know I shouldn't think about it, but it's really hard not to. I know Ufa is human, so he's only 10 more years at most.
Uta, wie Uta Pendragon. Aha. Ich sage, es kommt alles wieder zusammen.
So does that mean his heirs will inherit the throne for a few good generations until Morgan emerges to assume the throne in 400 years? Is that even possible? I guess you don't know either, huh, Ask? Still, at least it sounds like this new king is successful at keeping pace between the clans. After all, in Fairy Britain, I know there's almost no interclan warfare whatsoever. I'm sorry. There I go talking about the future again. That one was fine, Mesh. It's still within the margin of error. Anyways, there's still peace in the future, That's good to hear. Up until now, Britain has been plagued from millennia with endless turf wars between the clans. To see that fighting end with our generation would be absolutely wonderful.
Naja, es endete ja nur im Endeffekt, weil alle unter Morgens Fuchtel stehen und wenn sie aufmucken und auch hier mit den anderen Clans sich streiten, dass das hier zu ihrer Auslöschung führen würde.
It's all thanks to us, Murian and the Wing Clan, and Uta's Coalition Army giving the Earth, Wind, Fang and Mirror Clan what for. Our only draw was with Map of the King Clan. But now that Map says marrying Uta to unify their nation, the two of them together might just be invincible. Though I do feel just a little bad for Map, since Uta so obviously loves you, Ask. Don't be silly, Totorot. Of course he doesn't. Besides, once I see Uta take the crown and accept the bone bell from the clans, I'm going to back to paradise. I think Uta and Map make a great couple, too. I'm sure the two of them ruling together will bring peace to Britain for the next 400 years.
Let's not get ahead of ourselves. We still need to ensure the coronation in Londinium goes smoothly. Wie wir wissen, ist das nicht passiert. Why aren't you using the cathedral at Salisbury for that, Ask? Isn't there far more history to be found there? Londinium may be an invincible fortress, but it still smells of blood. It's bound to attract Moors. If you ask me, Salisbury is still the safer choice. Maybe, but Salisbury is also closer to the pit. That place worries me more.
No one in Britain knows what's the bottom of the pit. No, the fairies of Britain fear too much to even go near it. I'm the only one who can investigate what's inside, but it's much too deep for me to do so alone. If only there were someone brave and strong with magic energy to match a fairy. Someone who wasn't from Britain, but was still willing to help. Then I could go investigate it, right? Now. Ask, what is it? Of course! We do have someone like that now. Hooray! Change of plans. We're going to the pit right now. Mash and I are going to finally uncover the truth behind the greatest mystery in Britain.
Ins Loch ohne Wiederkehr hinabsteigen. Aha. Nun gut, Muramasa war ja schon halb drin. Ich denke ehrlich gesagt, da drunten hat sie die Calamities. Sammelt morgen die. Das wäre jetzt meine Vermutung. Okay. Okay, mit unserer Truppe geht's wieder zurück nach Salisbury. So, wir haben wieder ein bisschen hier Ding. Aber ihr seht immer noch, hier ist das komplett ausgelöscht. Aber das ist eigentlich das Wichtigste. Wie die Fae Era kurz vor morgen
entstanden ist und generell woher morgen kommt. Wir gehen zurück nach Salisbury und ihr könnt euch denken, was das heißt. Also es ist Zeit, uns mit Aurora zu treffen. In Act 14, Eve of the Decisive Battle. Und dann die Glocke zu läuten. Zumindest hoffen wir mal, dass das so flott geht. Tintagel's bell of pilgrimage, which I've been hearing constantly for 16 years, rings in the distance. It's a cruel, roughly high bell that looks nothing like a bell it's based on. It embodies the wish that the child of prophecy will one day grow strong and set off on her journey. Tintagel is a coastal village located north of Cornwall. It's a small, insignificant place. Both the High Queen and the clan heads tend to forget it exists. Caster. I brought you a new book. It's about Equid and Upper Class Fairies. Ist ihr Name echt Caster, oder? Da können wir nicht einfach sagen, dass es ihr Spitzname ist. You should study it now so that you'll be ready when you leave the castle in the day. Let's see. Do you mind if I put out the table here? By the way, have your Fae markings grown yet? You will be 16 years old in only 2 more years, you know. I'm getting a little worried. Your journey is going to be hard enough as it is. I see you're working hard again today, Caster. You're so diligent, dedicated and innocent. You play just as hard as you study. And you always find whatever it is the village needs at any given moment. The other fairies could learn a thing or two from you. Just seeing you in action fills us with hope. Still, I'm afraid it's going to be difficult to pay this year's tax. Thankfully, we should be able to squeak by thanks to all your help. But at this rate, I'm worried Tintagel may cease to exist by the time you turn 16. What are we going to do? Why must we be so very... I swear none of these fairies have any act. I guess that's what happens when you live past your prime. Well, there's nothing wrong with saying when you don't like something. In fact, you should say so. Don't you agree, Caster? I mean, you don't want anything treating yours differently just because you're the child of prophecy either, right? So come on, let's do something fun. The elders are not gonna mind if you just hang out for a while. Did you hear that a merchant's caravan coming this way from the road? Maybe we get a musical instrument from Gloucester. If they have any, I'm sure they sell it to you. I mean, you're the child of prophecy. Oh, have you been growing? One of the older fairies was saying you grow and change over time, unlike the rest of us. It's so weird to think about, but I guess it's better that way. With the magical energy you have now, you couldn't even survive against a single black dog. So hurry up and grow as much as you can, okay? Until then, we keep you safe. Bis sie dann kamen. Everyone had such high hopes for me. It was a tiny village with no future, but they all believed in me, even though I didn't deserve it. Und dann brannte alles nieder. I'm sorry, I'm sorry, I'm sorry. I'm sorry, I'm so weak. I'm sorry I couldn't be stronger. I'm sorry I couldn't protect our village.
What's wrong with this village? I taught them it was futile to fight back, yet they still tried to resist. Did they all go crazy? Forget the Tintagel fairies. Find the child of prophecy. We've embarrassed ourselves enough as it is. If we let her escape now, I'll never be able to face High Queen Morgan.
His voice was like thunder. It was the first time I'd heard a truly powerful fairy roar with anger. I was too scared to even try to fight. All I could do was run away by myself, crying.
I'm sorry, Grandpa. I wish I could have stayed there with you. Das war natürlich das, was uns dann hier berichtet worden ist, dass Tintergel ausgelöscht worden ist, aber das haben wir immer nur so teilweise bekommen. Ich finde es übrigens sehr schön, dass wir wirklich zum ersten Mal richtig so in die Perspektive eines Charakters eintauchen. It only took half a day to make it back to Salisbury. This new carriage is so much easier to pull. And now that we are fighting against the Queen, I have no intention of obeying the speed limit anymore. At this pace, we could make it back to Londinium before sunset. What would you like to do? I don't think there's any rush. Seconded. I need to get out here before my poor back and butt shatter completely. I could use a brief or two. I think I might be getting a little motion sick. And why don't we rest up at Mike's restaurant? I've been wanting to talk to him about something anyway. How about you, Percival? I'm going to continue to Londinium. I'm sure the Child of Prophecy will be welcome in Salisbury, but I don't think the same can be said for the command of the Round Table Army. Huh? What are you talking about, Percival? There's a resistance movement in Salisbury too, right? Why don't you just work together? It's not that simple. The Round Table Army and the Salisbury Rebel are different organizations. They may be similar, but their goals aren't quite the same. Especially since Aurora is still publicly presenting herself as being on the Queen's side. If she did anything to hint that she's sympathetic to the Round Table Army, she'd be squished like a bug, clan hat or not. Yes, that's true. Yeah, but it ain't kind of bad luck to just be sitting on the sidelines at this point. Not at all, Lord Mormaza. I wouldn't expect Lady Aurora to choose anything else. Anyway, Kundi's telling me she still has plenty of energy, so I'm going to go to Londinium. Oh, beloved Child of Prophecy! Oh, valiant Child of Prophecy! Sie komplett wieder am Nerv. Courageous Savior of Norwich, equal to the Queen in Camelot! She's going to rebuild Londinium and defeat the Tamlin! You're a star, Tori, a bona fide star. Well, I just as soon not to be a different meat, having pancakes with my face on them. Das ist hier Traum. The best part is, they're prettier than I am. I swear, what is about Winkland Ferris that makes them so good at getting under your skin? Da Vinci, you're finally back! Where were you? You said you were only going to be a gunner for a little while, but it's been over 2 weeks. Oh, but never mind that. The important thing is you're back. I've got so many things I want to show you. I made a whole new menu. I've been getting along better with the Winkland fairies. And I'm even hanging out with humans now. It's been really busy, but I'm having so much fun. Hey Mike, sorry for making you worry. So, don't you think you might be trying a few too many new things at once? You're the kind of furry who concentrates best when you're on your own, so I think you'd be better off sticking to one thing at a time. You think? Well, maybe you're right, but one's just not enough anymore. After all, the amazing things you taught me, Da Vinci, everything else just pales in comparison. Sheesh, how can I scold you after a compliment like that? So Maxie, but I need to stop by the kitchen and test Mike's new recipe. I just hope he hasn't used any overly strange seasoning this time. Leute, wir haben hier so viele Romanzen. Da Vinci wohlgemerkt hier und Mike. Dann haben wir Percival und Castoria. By all means, take your time. We'll just be resting up in the back. Nice to see Da Vinci got a friend. Well, more of an apprentice, really. She said she got to know him while she was wandering around on her own. It at least means we can come and go as we please. That does make it perfect for having secret meetings here at this quiet little back table. Over? Yeah, I've got something serious to discuss. I know you all keep quiet about this after we left the Welsh Woods, and I appreciate your consideration. But time is not on our side. Woodwar's army still has Londinium surrounded. If you're going to defeat them... Yeah. I'm going to need a katana. Would you make me one, Muramasa? He? Huh? I'm a grown man. I can't keep fighting with Tree Branch forever. And your katana's so cool. Do you think it'd be okay if I wear one on my waist too? Are you nuts? You don't carry a katana for looks. Besides, isn't iron dangerous for fairies? Don't worry. It would just be for show. I'd never actually use something that dangerous. That's worse, you dumbass. I'm not gonna help you be a damn samurai cosplayer. The most you're getting out of me is a bamboo sword. Oh. Sehr gut, Mann. Hey, it's good to see everyone feeling better again, isn't it, Maxie? Yes, it is. It sounds like a joke, but you're really serious about this katana idea. How could you do this to me, Muramasa? You're even stingier than I thought. Did you forget how you only beat Barges with my help? That got nothing to do with this. I can't give you a katana when you don't even know how to use one. I gotta admit, you were pretty good in that fight though. When you said you weren't much good in a fight earlier, were you just being modest? Well, yes and no. I don't like pain, and my ability make me much better at serving in the support role. Plus, I didn't really want to draw attention away from the Child of Prophecy. If she had thought her companions were more capable than she was, Atora probably would have slunk back to Tintagel long ago. So I decided to avoid the limelight until she started feeling a little more confident. Good point. I probably would have just gone back to Tintagel if you had, yeah. See? At any rate, that was my one foray into combat. I wasn't myself back there. The foreign mage is supposed to guide the Child of Prophecy, not me. I'm not going to overstep my bounds anymore. From here on in, this battle is for the two of you to fight. Besides, now that the Welsh Forest has been burned down, my part in all that is probably just about over. Oh, was soll das jetzt heißen? Guys, Mike just told me some big news. Huh? What's with all the long faces? Did you already hear about it from the patron or something? No, we haven't heard anything. What's this all about, Da Vinci? Well, some of the refugees from Norwich who escaped to Salisbury headed off to Londinium this morning to join the Round Table Army. Is it because we defeated Gawain? Yep, apparently news of your defeat has already made its way across Britain. I have an idea or two about who might have gone around spreading that rumor, but never mind that for now. The important thing is that people are starting to really put their faith into the Child of Prophecy now. The enemy thinks the Round Table Army is just going to stay held in Londinium, but if we can muster enough fighters to go on the offensive, we can defeat Woodwars before the Queen sends reinforcements. Exactly, only if we keep getting more fighters from across the country. And if we're going to make that happen, we got only one option. Can you do this for us, Oberon? Of course. Besides, you guys have already met the criteria role laid out. All that's left now is for her to hold up her end of the deal. So, let's get your reward for saving Norwich. Es ist nämlich Zeit, die nächste Glocke zu läuten. Und damit haben wir schon dann Glocke Nummer 2. Ich denke mal, danach wird es nach Gloucester gehen und vielleicht können wir sogar Murin dafür überzeugen. Doch jetzt machen wir erstmal einen kleinen Cut und beim nächsten Mal geht's weiter mit Let's Play Fake and Order. Vielen Dank fürs Zuschauen und bis zum nächsten Mal. Ciao!